Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. A Baltimore man is alleged to have murdered his ex-girlfriend and his ex-wife before taking his own life. Now, in this incident, Rajay Sharif Black is alleged to have murdered his ex-girlfriend and ex-wife before taking his own life. Now, part of this tragedy was shown on Facebook Live as your Rajay Sharif Black went on a rant talking about how he had been mistreated by his wife and the criminal and the court system, and how he had been railroaded through the family courts. And he had talked about how he was going to end things as related to his ex-girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time. And what was really troubling is that as he was going on this alleged murder spree, your Rajay Sharif Black possibly had his children inside the vehicle. Now, the police are seeing this as a disturbing, isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the disturbing behavior of Rajay Sharif Black, it fits the pattern and profile I talk about regarding men in crisis in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that your Rajay Sharif Black, a college-educated professional black man who was an anesthesiologist, did not get the male life skills or male survival skills in order to navigate relationships with women. Because one of the reasons I believe that he got involved with these two female predators was because he did not have the ability to know how to vet women, and he did not know how to be able to identify female predators like his ex-wife or his soon-to-be girlfriend who was going to be having his child. Now, both of these women show that Rajay Sharif Black didn't really have good critical thinking skills as related to dating and relationships, and that is something that a lot of guys have when they don't have a father in their life. Now, yes, these kind of guys will be very well educated and well spoken and have good business skills, but their interpersonal skills will lack. And because they don't have good interpersonal skills or good common sense, that makes them a target of female predators. And it looks like to me your Rajay Sharif Black was targeted by a female predator who wanted to go and get power over him. That's what I believe happened with his ex-wife. She was looking to play cat and mouse games with your Rajay Sharif Black, not understanding that she was lighting a fuse on a bomb that was getting ready to go off. Now, this woman had gone out and filed numerous domestic violence charges against your Rajay Sharif Black, but oftentimes quickly went to dismiss those charges. And that shows me that this was more about power and control over Rajay Sharif Black and trying to get him to submit to whatever she wanted him to do. Because sometimes when you're dealing with a predatory female and she can't get her way, what she does is she goes out here and uses the courts to try to make the man submit to her authority. And I go in depth on this in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And one of the tricks that women use is trying to use law enforcement to make a man submit to them. And that's what it looks like based on the police reports and the numerous series of court cases that were filed against Rajay Sharif Black. And that happened sadly because, again, your Rajay Sharif Black really did not have good male life skills to identify a female predator. And most guys who have what they call game can easily identify this kind of woman and realize that this is not a good relationship to be in, because this female wants power and control, and she's willing to go out here and mess up your life to get that power and control. And what this woman was trying to do was escalate things by making allegations that this man had gone out here and molested his children, and this was leading to him having a custody battle with this woman. So this woman was one of these female predators who was trying to be domineering and controlling, and she was trying to put a vice grip around this man. And this was doing a number to this man's mental health because, as an anesthesiologist, he was a skilled nurse, but he needed to have a clean record if he had hoped to go out here and work on the regular. This man needed to have a record that was clean, but this woman did not care about this man's record. It was all about the power she was going to have over this man, and she was willing to destroy this man's life and the ability for this man to make a living that would actually was going to take care of her, because where were all the child support payments coming from? They were coming from this man. But this woman didn't care because it was all about her feelings, and it was all about her ego, and all about her having control. Now, your Rajay Sharif Black tried to deal with his ex-wife, but he then got involved with another woman, and sadly, because he really did not look at the paradigm as related to his life, he got involved with the same type of female predator. And as he was probably involved with this new woman, he was probably telling her about what happened with the old woman. And what happened was this female also gained leverage and control over him by making allegations against him as related to domestic violence. And this is one of the other things that led to him having problems with this other girlfriend who he had wound up getting pregnant. And this incident right here was probably the thing that led to him exploding into a rage, where he participated in the extremes as related to the spectrum of violent behaviors. Because many of these kind of males, because they don't have a support system of men out here to teach them how to navigate relationships with women, they become extremely frustrated, they become extremely angry, and as they're simmering and boiling in rage, they don't see a way out of this situation, because what a lot of females like to do with these kind of cat and mouse games is they like to try to box a man in. But when you box a man into a corner, what happens is this man winds up in a place where he feels like he has nothing to lose, and that's when that man winds up exploding in a rage where he's looking to just destroy everybody around him. And because he's feeling about the situation and feeling about powerless about anything that he can do, he just looks to lash out at everyone. And that's sadly what happened here. This man felt like he had absolutely nothing to lose, and because he felt like he had absolutely nothing to lose, that's why he murdered his ex-wife, and that's why he murdered his ex-girlfriend, and that's why he went on and took his own life, because he felt like he had absolutely nothing to lose. And this was a situation that sadly could have been avoided had he been taught good male life skills, because had he been taught male life skills, he would have been able to identify his life paradigm, and he would have been able to identify the fact that he was attracting female predators to him, and he would have learned how to break away from these kind of females. Because when it comes down to these domineering kind of females, they live for their ego, they live for power, and they live to see men on their knees, and they live to see men being somber, morose, and down, and they live to cut men down with their mouth, or they live to use the courts as their own personal weapon, and they love to use law enforcement as their own personal weapon. So they go out here and create all of this drama because they love the attention that they're receiving, and they love the power that they have as a victim. But what they don't know, ironically, is they're putting themselves in a situation where they actually would become a real victim, because what you're doing is setting off a fuse in this man by continuing to go out here and threaten him and harass him and bully him. And that man is going, as you continue to push him, you push him all the way into the corner, and that man feels like he has absolutely nothing to lose. And because he feels like he has nothing to lose, what happens is this man winds up going out here and exploding in rage, where he goes out here and participates in these type of horrific acts. Now, what is the most troubling thing about this horrible incident is that several children now don't have their father or their mother in their lives, and these children are going to grow up either wards of the state or taken care of by other family members, all because these parents could not work things out, especially the mothers. They were so busy going out here getting off on the power they had over a man that they didn't think that they were creating a man in crisis and creating a situation where that crisis exploded into violence that cost everyone their lives. And sadly, the children are the big losers in this whole situation with your Rajay Sharif Black. His children will always grow up without their father or their mother. And again, that's all because nobody taught this man the male life skills that he needed, and when he was younger, on how to deal with women, or how to especially deal with this kind of woman. Because when you have a female who is this out of control, the only thing you can do with this kind of female is just pay the child support and keep it moving. As much as you'd like to get involved with her, there's no way you can do it. And he made another mistake, I believe, when he got, because I think one of these women was one he was working with, and he made a mistake right there by getting involved with a woman at the job. But this guy, he didn't know how to navigate the world. Yes, he had great education and great success, but he was undermined because he did not have that network of men out here to be able to teach him those male life skills, or to teach him what they call game. But game is just basically learning how to navigate situations with women and how to avoid female predators like this, or avoid situations like this by exiting yourself out of that situation. And these are things that he did not know how to do because he did not learn those male life skills from other men. But the whole thing is, the whole incident shows me that yes, you can have a college education, yes, you can make good money, but the whole thing is, if you don't have that education on game or how to navigate situations with women, you can wind up losing everything, including your life, because these kind of females, when they see a man like this, they love the whole idea of getting power over that man. They love the idea of getting control over that man, and they want to see this man squirm and be filled with fear of her calling 911 or calling the courts to say that he did things. And what these women think, that while they're gloating in their power, they don't understand you have lit a fuse under this guy, because eventually he's going to reach a point where he has nothing to lose. And when a man gets to that point, he's going to again explode, and he's going to go out here and do damage like this man did to his whole family, because at this point, this man has practically, in his mind, lost everything, and this woman has taken away this man's dignity in the courts, his self-respect, his self-worth. She's taken away his ability to make a living. She's taken away his freedom. And when a man loses these things, it's one of the things that can lead to a man losing his mind, because he has nothing to live for. But a lot of these women, again, so caught up in their ego about, oh, I've got this man squirming, not understanding that you're playing with fire, and that the chances of you getting burned are sooner rather than later. Because when you go out here and mess with guys like this, and playing these crap tests and cat and mouse games, you are playing with fire, because a lot of this is not about you having a healthy relationship with this man. It's about power and control. And a lot of these women, they want to have this power and control because they've had bad relationships with other men, and they want to take out all of their anger on that good brother who is out here, because this guy probably was one of those educated good brothers, but then eventually he wound up in a situation with this kind of female, and this female was looking to go out here and pick fights, looking out here at pull crap tests, and eventually any man is going to reach a boiling point where he's just going to say enough is enough. And when he reaches that point, that's when the whole thing just explodes and we get incidents like this. And people will see this as an isolated incident, but this is another incident that fits that pattern and profile of the violence I talk about as related to men who are in crisis. And this is the type of thing that people don't want to acknowledge as part of the man crisis, because it means holding these females accountable for how they instigate this violence. And in our gynocentric society, we don't want to hold women accountable for their out-of-pocket and out-of-control behavior, because in our gynocentric society, we always make it look like the woman is never doing anything wrong. But a lot of times, these women will instigate these incidents. I mean, these men will be coming to go visit their children, and these women will start with them. And then as the man is trying to respond to whatever they're saying to them, they get on the phone and call 911 and say it was domestic violence. Or they will go out here and try to tell lies that the man is doing things to the children. And again, these women start this kind of stuff. But then when the guy tries to respond, then, oh, he's a monster and all this stuff. And that's what creates situations like this, because when a man has nothing to lose, he doesn't care anymore. But that's all because females are caught up in their ego, and they're caught up in what they want, their feelings about making this man squirm. And again, if you make a man squirm, he may squash you. But a lot of these women don't understand this, because they're just so caught up in their power and their ego. And they can't see that whenever you go out here and play these kind of games, you are making a man in crisis. And that man in crisis may be the man who may wind up putting you in harm's way. Now, if you want to learn more about men in crisis, like your Rajay Sharif Black, and what motivates them to participate in the kind of violence they participate in, or to learn how to prevent a man from becoming a man in crisis, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBook store, and Google Play. Now, this book has helped many men in crisis break out of the crisis, break out of the vicious cycle, and move their lives forward. And this book can help you if you are in crisis, and it can help you move your life forward and break free of the paradigm that leads to you becoming in crisis. Now, if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.